Okay.
I got an ad.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, we're live. And all right, cool. And I hear audio coming through. Great.
It'll probably take a sec for
Oh yeah.
the alert to go out and stuff.
One day I'll set up alerts for my stuff. I just don't stream consistently. Um, it's not my
Yeah.
it's not my end game really. Um,
Yeah, we got some stuff, not everything. Um, are you back home right now?
yep, yep. Back in Jersey. I'm going to London this weekend because a friend of mine is getting married and it's his stag do. So we're flying over, so that'll be a weekend of fun shenanigans and zero chess study. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Cool. Nice. Um, wait, let's see. Do we have okay, Twitch is live. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, and then Discord still needs to
Oh yeah,
be
send out the alert.
notified. Yeah. But we might get some I'll keep an eye on the chat. We might get some chatters. Although usually it's pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
People just kind of like to
Like to
just to
absorb,
watch. Yeah.
soothing, no engine chess, anti-dopamine hits.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not how you get better.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, no, actually, I mean, no engine chess is good, but no, you gotta engage. You gotta, um, actually, it's probably better to chat less, actually, to think about like,
Yeah.
uh,
Although, talking about that, Megan in my chat just said, "Oh my god!" First, so also Megan nailed the username. Like she is the one, like the original on Twitch. Megan, she just nailed it.
oh wow,
Yeah, I know, impressive. Not Megan number one, not Megan number two, but the.
that's valuable.
She said she'd met all the other Twitch Megans. She's
Nice.
also been crushing her little chess improvement journey. She was struggling, struggling to get out the 300s, and it's like it's been nailing it so far recently. So
Cool.
mhm.
Cool. It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not.
We got Nordovik in the dojo chat. What's up, Nordovik? Um, and MG Weirdo
Oh, there we go.
subscribing for 50 months.
Whoa, huge.
Let's go. What is that in the UK, 50 months? What is that, like 4 years?
Yeah, isn't it 12 months in a yeah, yeah, 4 years.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's like 4 years for us
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, guys, what's that in the UK? That's 50 months. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
Oh, Nordovik with the 58 months. Wow.
oh right, okay. There's some competition going on. You need to like
That's almost 5 years.
yeah,
That's
Nordovik, you
crazy.
need to take out MG Weirdo down just so you can get those 8 months back. And then
Dang. Dang. But no, there's probably people with more because we've been at this for like over 5 years now. Like 5 years and some months. So there are some 60 monthers out there.
yeah, few and far between. Yeah, that's cool.
Dang, that's wild. Actually, it's been a while since I think I streamed on the Dojo. I guess I did the Vegas streams on Dojo's channel, so I
Yeah.
saw some people there. Um, but it's been a while since I did one from home. Um,
Yeah, you jet setter you all around Europe. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I've been traveling. I've been moving around. It's hard now. Yeah, actually, my body has lost its sense of home.
wow, wow. That's
I
a
just, yeah,
that's a
it's
big
rough.
statement.
Yeah, my body just doesn't know where home is. It just exists, as a being.
Like, chess is
Um,
home. That's all you need.
that's cool. Yeah, the chessboard is a container for, yeah, life, which is cool. What are we doing in today's stream? Okay, great question. We are going to be looking at Matt's games from this tournament we played recently in Italy. So how many points did you score in the end?
I only scored 3.5 in the end, so 50%, so kind of anticipated for an open. Which I in fairness went in assuming that I was going to do something like that. The last tournament I played before that was at under 1900s, so I had bigger prospects with that for sure. But yeah, so I think in general fairly happy with 3.5 expected, but also I think I uh could have pushed or come out maybe to be a little bit better. There was a couple of games that could have gone a little bit better, maybe not necessarily winning, but I in general I think had good games. There were two that I didn't think I played well at all. So those will be interesting to kind of have a look over as well. And then um yeah, what one which was the rook h queen takes, the rook blunder that I sort of had a way out of, and things like that as well. So that's was an interesting game, but yeah. So overall, like so in playing, not my best for a couple, but yeah, I don't feel like I had any games where I really like nailed it as well either. So yeah, be good to see your thoughts.
Cool. Um, so yeah, the interesting thing about this tournament was that me and Matt sat next to each other throughout. So I kind of got a glimpse of every game,
Yep.
although depending on how stressful my game was, I saw more or less. So actually, I think I saw a lot less of your later games.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I am incapable of I don't know how other people do it, but even when I get up and walk around when I'm in a tournament, I can't absorb what's going on in other people's games really, unless I'm really comfortable, because like my head's just in, like, even your games, I glanced over a couple of times. It's like, oh, okay, do a quick material count and be like, yeah, it looks fine. And then like get back to mine.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. I don't think it's good to be too distracted
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
games. Um,
Not Magnus and
so
Hikaru.
okay, well I'm excited to look at some chess games. And you've got
Great.
you've got some more tournaments coming up?
So, uh, I have a pairing for Jersey. So the small nation, the European small nations. Jersey sends a team
Mhm.
over, and I get two shots essentially at trying to make the team for that, and that'll be in November. So if I make the team, then yeah, I'll do that. And then Maya Chess Open as well. I am gonna go to. Haven't booked the flights and stuff yet, but I'm gonna go do that as well. So that'll be good. And then I think I had a goal that I set. So I set a bunch of goals at the start of the year as well as what
Nice.
I wanted to do. Kind of chess goals. I set them into like learning goals, and kind of performance goals, and stuff like that. One of my goals was to play in 3 tournaments. So this would be the third. So that would be good. In the Maya Chess Open, and then yeah, hopefully I can squeeze something else in, but we'll see how things go.
Nice. It's so easy. You just set goals and then you follow them,
Hmm. Well, yeah, and
achieve them one by one.
it's not like rating goals. Like it's like I want to go and do, and like I want to complete books and stuff. So I want to do things that in theory should make me a stronger player, but it's much easier to achieve those goals if the objective is to like read a book or play in a tournament. Like it's like
Yeah.
success.
No, absolutely. No, yeah, I'm a big believer. Yeah, process goals. You
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
you have your like rating dreams and your process goals.
Yeah,
And or
dreams.
like your rating, you can call them your rating milestones
Yeah.
too. Like actually I think that's a great way to differentiate it. It's just like your rating, everyone has milestones, just whatever your next thing is. Like 1800 strength, their milestone is to get to 1900 strength, and then 2000 strength from there,
Yeah.
even though they're much higher, but their username is
Hey, yeah. I I wonder. Like, I'm gonna get there. Like, yeah, but again, like process.
But setting goals, yeah, it's like much better because then it's like goals for your process is much better because then it's just all about what you need to do each day.
Yeah, and
And
also I
and
feel
then if you
like
just do those things, you'll move up.
rating is just a like a current representation of your strength, like right now as well. Like I've been too caught up in the rating stuff, so I'm really trying to detach myself a little bit. um.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Okay, shall we look at some games?
yeah. How do you want to do it? Do you want to go through? Is there any games you think we should specifically look at, or do you want to just go from like game one of the tournament?
Let's just look at round one. I think that was a
Sure.
good starting point. This is the first one here.
Yeah. This. Yeah. When I uploaded the PGN, it did it in random order, but this is the first one. I am not white as well, so I'm gonna flip the board. Um. How should I do this? Do you want me to like flick through and go through my thoughts, or just we're just gonna go move by move and see what's what?
Um, let's see.
Oh, do you have
play
control?
through this one,
Let me
and then let's see.
both.
Do I have?
Sorry, you've got control now.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now I can.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So, all right,
Yeah.
we're playing an unrated
Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
So
And
nice
he
pairing.
yeah. He played okay. I mean, I flat out blundered a pawn later on, and he didn't see it. So like I think that was more indicative of anything in the rest of the game. And then I had a tactic which I was lucky because when the pawn blunder was like a bad pawn blunder as well. His position was great, and I just anyway.
Yeah.
But in any case, d4 e3. I thought he played like quite passively. This is obviously some form of opening. I don't know it. I don't know that much opening theory, especially when it comes to d4. So yeah, I thought he played solidly but passively. I didn't actually like that I played d6, but I'm sure it's all fine. But yeah, d6, bishop e7. I think bishop e7 just anyway, because if d6 means that I'm going to play bishop e7, so I might as well just play bishop e7. Just like little nuances like that, I just thought afterwards. And also because of this move order thing, it was important that I played knight d7, I think, because I played d6. He played c3, which I thought was not like I thought c3 was just super slow. I thought rook e1 was a great move to play, or maybe even like knight d2, but like rook e1 to start his like he wants to get e4 e5 in. My general perception of a position like this. And if I can't get e5 in, I might have some problems. And because of this, the way I played, if he did go rook e1, rook e1. I think I have to go, or like going knight d7 is important. Because of like after bishop e7 castles, like he will have the time to get in e5 kind of things. So yeah, I mean, I definitely don't feel like I played the openings. Like, okay, nothing here is going to be like losing or anything, but yeah. Sorry, I'm just like flicking through.
Yeah,
so,
no, I would say it's like it is definitely this is definitely kind of passive. So you're basically playing a almost like a hedgehog setup or like a hippo setup where you're not taking a lot of space. So I would have probably opted for either
I did think
either bishop
c5
e7,
as well.
but then basically one of these two moves.
Mm-hmm.
C5 or d5, just to fight for the center more. d5 would be the simplest. Let's say you go bishop e7.
Yeah.
White does the same. Castles. White goes knight bd2. And just d5 here.
Yeah, I have this thing, and I want to ask about this because I often play against d4. I end up sort of falling into a setup where I'm playing like e6, d6, kind of see what white's gonna do in the middle. But also, I think I've got this fear of playing d5 because I've my light squared bishop, and d5 always feels like a really weird move to me in the event that I have like fianchettoed this bishop. I'm assuming that like c5 and I try and break the center, but I always feel like this bishop is now bad because I played d5.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's fine because white also gets a bad bishop on c1,
Right.
so you can definitely make it work. And then the bishop just kind of supports the eventual like knight jump to e4.
Hmm.
A lot of time the bishop can open up too because white trades, you take with the pawn, and then the bishop gets kind of stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not bad. It's more about, yeah, just kind of like taking control over the center.
Yeah.
Um, so c5 is also kind of okay, but then like white does get e4, and you have to kind
Yeah.
of be able to handle this structure,
I
which I think is
also
less obvious.
um I mean, white doesn't really want to take, but I still, yeah, I also worry that I'm gonna end up like wasting time. But I suppose for activity and stuff like that's fine. But e4 is annoying.
So yeah, here it's just like white gets this space, and so we don't really want to give it because what has your opponent done? He's played like d4 and e3, so
Yeah,
he's really given up. It's definitely not a very ambitious approach.
yeah, and I've just not been
Um,
ambitious in directly in response.
yeah, so you definitely could have played like c5 here
Sure.
or d5 and tried to develop like this. I think what you did is fine. But yeah, with d6, it's like you're kind of allowing him to get an e4 in the future because it means you're not going to play d5 now.
Right.
And so then I think white is like a little bit better there. I don't think it's like a big deal though.
No, no.
Like I think because you always get an e5 in response to e4. So I feel like this position is still
Yeah.
very much okay for you.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal, but maybe I would have handled the opening a little differently.
Sure.
Um, so okay, so I think this is pretty much fine. The first move I didn't like. H3 is okay. Rook 8 I think is okay. B3.
Oh, this is
Rook
terrible.
C.
Like I knew when I made the move
Yeah.
as well, it was like such a nothing move.
Right.
Like it's yeah. So I think because I've analyzed like this and put in some notes. But in terms of like what I was thinking a6 to stop any like maybe slightly annoying bishop b5, but I probably not. It's probably not even a thing. But just in case, like pinning this knight, or even like a6 d5 bishop b5 might be annoying in the future. Or after d5 bishop b5 might be annoying in the future. I spent like I wasn't sure how he was going to deal with the kind of central tension. So yeah, and then I just got on this like kind of vortex of I wasn't sure. I did think about g6 at some point as well, or even knight f8. Um, but yeah, I mean everything. I was kind of just, or even just maybe even bishop f8 here. But yeah, I thought he was he was trying to put pressure on e5 down here, and then I thought I might try and break with like c5 or something after he gets his bishop to b2. But yeah, it still doesn't really help me out too much. But yeah, I think I just gotten like I don't know why I struggled to find a plan here specifically, but I did, and then I sort of reset after this and was like, okay, this is going to be my plan.
Yeah, it seems like, yeah, I just didn't know what to do. So what can we say about this position? It's kind of like closed position, right?
Hmm.
And there's not going to be like a lot of tactics, so it's all about just kind of slowly improving your pieces. And then there's a question of like where does everything want to stand?
Yeah.
Um, which is not so obvious to figure out. But yeah, it's really typical one is this bishop f8, bishop g7, exactly. I think that's something that's like super flexible because it's probably going to improve your position no matter what white does on the queen side
Yeah.
or with their bishop. And so maybe you want c5, maybe not. So I would say like c5 is definitely, I would just rather you play c5 rather than rook c8
Rather,
because you
yeah,
can just
yeah,
play it immediately.
yeah.
Wanted to. A6 seems fine, okay, is like kind of a useful move. But probably bishop f8, yeah, is like the most flexible.
Yeah. Well,
Just kind
also
of feels useful in all positions. Yeah.
one thing I realized um in sort of like trying to analyze this myself is that the fact that this bishop is on this diagonal means that f5 is a little bit soft as well. So I was also wondering about just g6. Um,
hmm
and then also, I mean, it's probably same plan. Maybe bishop 8 f8 is slightly better because I can still always just push g6 if I want, I guess.
Yeah, basically they would be connected with each other. You could play both.
Okay.
Bishop f8, g6, bishop g7. And then continue based on how white proceeds, because they're gonna put the bishop somewhere, maybe
Hmm.
play a4, maybe not. Um, and then you have your own like knight h5, knight f4 ideas.
Right.
But the main thing strategically that's going on in this position is that you have this tension in the center.
Hmm.
So white always has to be like ready that you can take on d4 at some moment. That doesn't work. So they have to make sure everything is defended. You have to make sure your e-pawn is defended. If white ever pushes d5, then that changes the structure, and then the bishop on b7 becomes bad. And then you maybe have to like reposition it, whoops, to somewhere like d7 in order to get it kind of more useful. And then find some pawn break in the position, whether it's c6 or f5. But basically,
Yeah.
white always has this idea to kind of close the
Close
center,
it.
and then as black, you would just have to play that structure.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, so that's why bishop f8 feels useful. It kind of works regardless of what white chooses to do in the center. You could also play c5 to try and clarify things.
Hmm.
And I don't really see what's wrong with this one. Um, my best guess is that white should keep the tension and play something like knight c4 and just kind of put pressure. But yeah, this is where a move like bishop f8 becomes useful, because then you start to threaten like e takes d4
Sure.
and knight takes e4.
Yeah.
And then white's kind of obliged to do something with the center. Maybe they take, we take back, and you get some position like this, which to me feels reasonable. You again can go g6, queen c7 and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but maybe I would rather just start with bishop f8, because then here white's knight c4 wouldn't make as much of a problem for us.
Right.
Yeah, maybe this one is more flexible. Um, so, okay, rook c8, then bishop a3.
Yeah, I
And
thought this was
yeah, I
a
would
really
say,
bad move. Like, and again, analyzing afterwards, like I sort of knew that. Again, it's like one of those moments where I know it's probably not great, but it's very complicated. And I did think, like, I also shouldn't have like. It's not hope chess, but it was more like. I think I'm, I think I'm better than this guy, and I think I can deal with like the mess a little bit better. But it's all quite forcing, so like probably not a great decision. But I also thought trades just benefit me, so I was like, we're gonna go down a line where we trade a lot of stuff off because I was feeling quite cramped. Again, in hindsight, I think g6 and like or bishop f8, one of the two. I didn't really have like the g6 plan. It's only in analyzing afterwards that I thought g6 was fine, but I also thought just bishop f8, and I wasn't sure about like him opening up and then taking on f8, but I can always play knight takes, I guess. But I was worried about sort of defenses of e5, but maybe didn't calculate too. I spent all of my time probably calculating d5. And if I could get away with it.
yeah, yeah, which is it's kind of funny because d5 more or less justifies his move, so like
Really?
opens up his bishop.
So I thought getting rid of his dark square bishop was like beneficial for me.
I mean, maybe, but the thing is with bishop a3, he's kind of like he hasn't really put his bishop on a good square,
Right.
because d6 is just like nicely protected. I would say if anything, this move invites maybe c5 to keep the bishop like as restricted as possible.
Right.
And so if take somewhere, then yeah, maybe take with the knight, maybe
Mm,
with the pawn. But then his bishop would be kind of funny on a3. It would
yeah.
probably just be better on b2 and then
Well,
pushing c4.
I did actually wonder that. I also was wondering if he was going to try and bait me. Um, because if I was him and I'd push like c5, I'd probably go bishop back. Um, and I know it feels like wasted time, but yeah, I don't know what I do really as
And then you
black.
can just continue with your improvements like
Sure.
bishop f8, g6, bishop g7,
Okay. Just
h6.
leave all the tension.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no real reason for you to take on d4 here, which would only open up his pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does something with the center, then you're kind of ready to act
Sure.
accordingly. So yeah, I think c5 was better, or bishop f8. This also worked. And
Just
then
waiting. Yeah.
on takes, you would have a choice. Yeah, you could take like
Mm.
this just to keep his bishop kind of bad.
Yeah.
And then the idea would be to transfer this guy to g7, and then you would have a really, really nice bishop.
Right.
Actually, both bishops would be quite good. So here, I think your position is quite healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could take with the pawn, either with knight takes first, or just right here, and this also looks completely
Yeah.
reasonable for you.
It's kind of interesting. Both times you've, or every time you sort of demonstrated it as the sample line like this, you've always taken with the pawn, and that's like I would not like to take with the pawn because I didn't like sort of. I just felt like the queen's behind the knight. Like I don't know, it feels congested to me, but I suppose it's not a real big problem. But in my head,
No, it's
like
not. It's not always easy to say. Sometimes both are fine.
yeah, but yeah,
The one thing I like about taking with the pawn is that you kind of equalize the space immediately.
right.
Whereas with knight takes, if white finds some way to, let's say, not take on e5,
Mm-hmm.
then we're still
Cramped.
somewhat lacking in space, but
Right.
I would say it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Just different
Because
game.
your pieces can still play against it. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, here this one just seems simpler. And then your knight gets like access to all these nice squares. So definitely playable. I would say like, yeah, bishop f8, c5. And d5 is probably okay. It's just
Yeah, it's just anti like or maybe it just like
surprising.
simplifies and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it opens everything up. Yeah, so takes. And I don't think white has wasted so much time, so they should probably be okay here.
Uh-huh.
But he goes rook c1, which definitely feels
Yeah, that was
slow.
not the move.
So take 94 bishop e4. And then take rook takes.
Yeah, this is where I just like I was gonna push f5, but I didn't like pushing f5 and being super loose, like f5 e4 kind
Yeah.
of plans. But then I thought this would be actually like potentially quite loose, and I don't think those pawns are gonna actually be that strong or helpful. It, and then I go knight f6 afterwards, but yeah, I suppose he doesn't want to also push f3 or anything like that. So yeah, I wasn't 100% sure, and then I just like had this weird like brain moment where I was like, oh no, it's fine. I can just like attack the rook, and I don't know. I can't even remember what my thought process was, but I just completely, yeah, like I was fully aware the pawn is hanging. I was gonna actually just either take on d4, which I didn't like hugely, or just play like f5 e4, followed by knight f6. But yeah, just yeah,
Yeah, I think f5 would be the thing to do here, just to take the space. Because then let's say the rook goes back somewhere, e4.
Sure.
The knight would have to move somewhere. It's not clear where exactly.
Yeah.
Let's just say knight e2 then. So this would be kind of a nice, I don't know, nice thing
Yeah.
for black because
Yeah.
your pawns are strong, and then so your main plan could be like to break with c5
Uh-huh.
and even just like start piling up on the d file. You can also use the d5 square for the knight.
Yeah.
Maybe some e3 break somewhere. So, but yeah, basically just putting pressure on d4 now, I think would be the main.
Yeah,
main job.
like it's kind of funny because I created some kind of narrative in my head that this was weakening for my king,
Uh-huh.
and so I was just like, yeah, it doesn't feel good, but like when it's on the board, I'm like, this is a great position.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this is like a pretty pretty typical thing. So yeah, basically you didn't really do anything
Yeah,
so wrong. It's just here. Yeah, this was a nice.
and yeah, okay,
Okay, so this one definitely
so,
a
yeah,
calculation blunder.
it
I would
wasn't
say.
that.
That's just like a
Yeah,
easy pawn.
it's one of those where I calculated and then calculated something else, and I'm going like, no, I'm gonna play it safe and play knight f6, and I just didn't. Yeah, it's not even like I knew the pawn was hanging. Like I've got no excuse.
Mhm.
So yeah, but okay, yeah, and
And
then
your opponent plays rook e2, which for me is
oh my god, like
remarkable.
yeah, because also like knight takes or rook takes or whatever. Like I think it's just winning. Like okay, it's not like a one game, but like my position is so much worse without that pawn. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just what do I do? It's really hard to like come up with anything.
Yeah, no, it's just really healthy pawn up. You're
Yeah,
just fighting for a draw. So a bit of mutual blindness. When you play knight f6, did you notice?
Oh, I
Or
know instantly, like because
yeah.
I already knew as soon as I had touched the knight, like, and I was just like, what? Why did I grab this piece? And but yeah, it has to like, so before I even put the piece down, but I just attempted not to show any, and just like tried to play it as confidently as possible by the time I put it down. So yeah, like yeah, as soon as he played Rookie 2, I actually sighed. And then after the game, like, I was like, he was like, oh, why did you sigh there? I was like, because I should just down this pawn. So yeah, and then I took on d4, obviously. I mean, I could have pushed
They say
e4,
there's
but
no luck in chess.
oh
Yeah.
no, this is pure luck. This is pure luck because yeah. So yeah, I mean, still my position's not like necessarily super great, but it's not super bad. But my rook on c8 is not, the one. But yeah. So yeah, instantly I take. I think I may not have even considered e4 because I was just like, I need to sort everything, and also e4 knight d2, and then how do I protect the pawn? Yeah. So I
I
just
think this would be playable. It's interesting. So like queen d5, and then
oh no c4 yeah.
rook comes to e8. You can break again with c5.
Yeah.
I think it would be maybe a bit more complicated because takes.
Here I
This,
actually
yeah, this one should have been pretty drawish.
yeah, like rook e7 and it's fine.
Yeah.
But I also debated because I saw this tactic and I just had like this inkling because it also looks like he has a fork at the end of it if he's not careful. But I also thought about playing something like h6, to allow him this knight c6 square because it looks so juicy.
Yeah, h6 and then be like,
Yeah. Exactly. I was so tempted, but then I was like, at the end of the line, if he plays it like, yeah, he'd still like, well, rook e7, queen e7, maybe like, yeah, I thought I'd just gain some space, and also it forces him to make a move, in any case, but yeah, so I got yeah, the tactic
Yeah,
is
I think c5 is the better move
yeah,
objectively.
yeah, yeah.
And then it's not like it's totally drawn after knight f3. I think or after takes, sorry, and then knight f3.
Yeah. Well,
I
that
think
yeah,
um,
and it's. I mean, okay,
this is
I've
what
got
it is.
more space, but like I don't really think there's much. You know.
Well, for example, so here rook d8, queen e1, and then let's say you avoid the trade, and you just don't allow him to play rook d1 or make
Mm-hmm.
simple moves. And then from here, yeah, you're just like very gradually like improving your position, hoping for some blunder. But like yeah, you could imagine like losing this to a strong,
Yeah.
very strong
Oh yeah,
player.
yeah.
So that means there's room for us to possibly outplay our opponents as well if we
Sure.
so okay, not like the game was totally dead. Um, then came knight f5, and it was over
Yep.
as quickly as it had begun.
As quickly as I blundered that ball.
Yeah. Okay, so round one done.
Yep.
I would say just like the maybe the opening setup could have been a bit better,
Yeah.
but other than that, it was all good.
And d5. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just
E5, yeah,
generally,
F5. So some of those decisions there. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
if I had seen g6 and the idea of rerouting my bishop, I think that would have changed the rest of the how the game went out. But yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
rook c8, like, oh yeah, not the one.
Okay, shall we look at round two?
Yeah. Which one was that? It wasn't. Uh, I think actually that might have been the one where I blundered the rook. Is it Julia? No. Sorry, the games are not in order, annoyingly. It is in order on Chess Dojo though, so I'm just gonna check my games on Dojo.
Hmm. Is that against Mastrodi?
It is. No, it wasn't against her. Okay, I've got it here. Just gonna go into my study. That's one thing that would be great is ordering by the date in the game. And I think it was yeah. I mean, well, I'll go to that one anyway because I'm pretty sure it was against him. And also, I think that's my prep or my lack of memory for the prep. I was really like. I was like, as soon as he played it, I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna get this. And then he spent ages thinking, and like he kept like being super confident during the opening, and playing like relatively quickly, but getting up, like going away, like kind of his body language was great. And then as soon as I played Queen E1, his whole body language changed because he started looking at it because he came back to the board, looked at it, and was like, huh? And then was like, that can't be a good move. And then he started calculating, and then he started calculating for a long time. And then, yeah, and then he didn't look happy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was a nice a nice surprise. But essentially, from here, I knew that I did not remember the rest of the moves. But I thought I could kind of figure it out. um, so so this was I
It's
think
not so easy. Yeah, it's a bit
yeah.
of a spicy line.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought it was kind of fun, and also I think I like made like a very like minute second of like eye contact with you. Played like Queenie one. I was just like, yep, this is from you.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I was happy to see you get
yeah,
it on the board.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so he goes e5.
Yeah, which is the most critical, and yeah, from here I mean, knight takes, pawn takes, straightforward. And then it was here where I was really debating whether I should take in the center um, or
Right.
not. Um, and this is where I did lead astray because I was debating three moves like bishop c5, bishop g5, or um, ed.
Right.
And I really struggled to find. And the thing is, what led me to playing bishop c5 was that I liked that this pawn was sheltering the bishop on c5. Um, and I thought it was actually really kind of like annoying for him because I think bishop c5 and rook d8 doesn't work for him for what from what I looked at or what I was calculating, or like I think it's quite good for me, um, or it's like slightly better, but from what I was looking at, and then
Mhm.
bishop g5 instantly gets hit with h6, so I didn't see much in that, and then I actually like the thing that I missed was de cd and then bishop g5, um, or
Oh.
or something to that effect, de cd. Um,
Yeah, that's the theory. So
yeah.
that's just like that's the way the line goes. So you take, and then actually the main line is for black to take with the knight here,
Hmm.
and then you do get your bishop
Yeah,
c5 or knight e4 first, and then bishop c5.
94, then bishop
Um,
c5, yeah.
once black is committed to this structure,
So I
because if they
missed
go here, yeah,
94 as in like an in between. Okay. Yeah, because also I
right,
was like trying to calculate, and then every line that I did, I just exchanged on in my head. I exchanged on d5, and then I didn't have this pawn in front of this bishop, and I was like, yeah, that I can't put the bishop on. Like I can put the bishop there, but it doesn't feel as good. And I had some sort of vague recollection of like there being a pawn there when I put the bishop there. So I was like, well, it must be bishop c5 now.
yeah. So yeah, no, that this is definitely a structure to be careful about because
Hmm.
it can be very active for black.
Yeah.
Um, but in this version, you do have bishop g5, and then the key point here is that if black plays d4, if queen takes e5.
Yeah.
Otherwise, white wouldn't really have such a nice position. Like if you just had to go like knight e4 here or something,
Mm,
then black goes like bishop e6 and everything is fine. Like black is getting a really nice
yeah.
position because they have a lot of space. They have open files against your king,
Yeah.
and they're just ahead in this kind of thing.
Sure.
So um, that's why this whole thing is very concrete. But white snaps one pawn and then possibly two pawns, and so black doesn't have any. It's spicy because it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff is hanging, but black doesn't have any good resource here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just nothing. Yeah, nothing to do. You're ready to take on d4.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
they have to do some other thing like bishop e6. No, no, bishop e6. I think you also
uh
just take.
take on e5. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to play some like queen b6 or something.
Oof. But then can I not take bishop takes, knight takes? I suppose that gets
Yeah.
dangerous with the bishop on the dark diagonal. Oh no, but I take on f6. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I think this is decent for white. So
E5?
yeah, I forget how there is a way for black to make this playable, but I forget
Or was
exactly
like
what it
bishop
is.
f4, like something really ridiculous.
Um, yeah, because you're basically threatening this anyway. But yeah, essentially CD is considered not as good
Hmm.
because of bishop g5. So knight d5, this is
Yeah.
more the main line. And
Yeah.
then you play a structure like this where your idea is to kind of keep black as restricted as possible.
And
It's
not
hard for them to
let the dark square
move
bishop
around
alive.
with everything kind of blocked. Yeah, and then they look for like f5 at some point. You have to make sure you're ready to deal with it. I would say like pretty sharp positions, not super straightforward.
Yeah. He was a high rated player as well, so I was like, I was hoping for like a fun game because,
Hmm.
I mean, he's not out of reach for sure. and later on in the game, it does it definitely wasn't out of reach. Um, but
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, you know, the anticipated result. I kind of like playing up. I find it quite freeing. So I was hoping it would be like a bit of a like a fight, and I want to try and play more aggressively against. I mean, obviously you should do it when you're cause for, but I'd like yeah, against high rated people because they will just take advantage of it when you make mistakes, and it's the best way to learn.
Yeah, you should definitely just, yeah, I think just go for the throat every time. I think that's the way to do it. Because you'll definitely get chances. Like in this game, you definitely I think had chances.
I definitely had some
Um,
good chances. So yeah, this I wasn't sure about. I mean,
um,
it makes sense to give me the exchange and reroute the bishop onto the f8 to a3 diagonal. Um, I did think about just playing bishop c4 here as well.
right.
Instead of taking the exchange and just going like, okay, I'm going to develop and move my knight after you move your queen. But like queen a5 is maybe kind of annoying. But then I can pick up the exchange, but then you know, still got knight problems, and then a2 is hanging. So I was hence why bishop c4 was kind of felt okay, but yeah, I quite like just trying to be simple. Bishop takes, and then like knight a4 doesn't allow any queen a5, which is what I was worried about. You do it with the queen, which I thought at the time made sense, and now again post game analysis, I was like, bishop takes is just a lot better.
Yeah, it definitely seems better to take this way to keep the queen. Yeah, on this diagonal. Yeah, I was
um,
thinking that too.
so he just
Yeah,
didn't.
I mean it's like
Yeah.
it's a pretty thematic sacrifice to go d4. It might
Okay.
not be necessary. Yeah, maybe he could have just gone rook e8 and then
Uh,
there's no problem.
I calculate so many crazy things here. So maybe not. But then I was thinking, ed, um, I don't know. I guess pawn takes. I'm gonna try bishop here. But then again, you don't. You can still give the sack away. So it wasn't like 1,000,000%. Queen c7, I
Go bishop
think.
d7 here.
Bishop d7. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's fine.
Sure.
Take. Then knight d5, bishop takes. Oh, I remember the detail here. So on takes, bishop g5, bishop e6. Queen takes e5, I think is actually not so good.
Do you have like?
Because I think
Oh,
this is annoying.
yeah,
h6. And we're forced to give up our dark squared bishop.
yeah,
And then black gets really good
yeah.
compensation here.
These are annoying.
So on bishop e6, white continues bishop c4.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is very annoying now because now black can't really defend the d pawn anymore.
Right.
And I think d4 is not really played, probably because you just take here.
Yeah.
And then black structure is really bad. Maybe queen takes e5 is possible again.
Yeah.
And then yeah, main line is for black to play like here, and then white is able to win a pawn on d5 for some compensation.
Right.
But I think it's not supposed to be enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I just want to show this bishop c4
Okay.
thing. It's kind of
Yeah, I was looking at I was trying to make some bishop c4 stuff work in what we were just looking at as well. So bishop c5. What were we just looking at? Where were we? Oh, just in the event of like rook across takes, pawn takes bishop d7 does put a stop to that though, which is kind of annoying. Yeah. because I thought if like rook e6, I might have some bishop c4 idea.
Mm-hmm.
But bishop d7, yeah. I think that's also why I kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay,
Yeah, that one looks okay for black, and they're getting
sure.
their strong center. Okay, so he gives the exchange. He takes
Yeah.
it. It takes with the queen. Knight a4. Looks good.
And here I also thought rook b8 was not a great choice. It obviously makes sense. But it allows me bishop c4. And I'm just like, and when I played that, he was also like, like, why did I let you bring pieces to the defense?
Mm-hmm.
And
He
that,
could have just
yeah,
done this one.
yeah. So I think
Right.
bishop b6 slightly better, probably.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm.
And then c5 I thought was a terrible move. And at this point I was like, I'm better. Like, yeah, because queen a5, and he's got to sort of deal with some of the problems. I wasn't worried about rook b5 because I was just going to play b3 and a3.
Mm-hmm.
There was some kind of sacks I was looking at. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. Not currently, but maybe in the future. But the thing is, his queen is just so out of it because he's pushed c5 that like there's no queen a3 check ideas. Like, yeah. I was actually going to potentially just push b3 here as well. But then I didn't necessarily like this bishop a3 check kind of stuff, and I wanted the option to go king d1 after bishop a3 check because he hadn't thrown that in
Wait,
yet.
I don't understand that. What can he do to you if your king is on?
I know, but I just thought there was like more potential for annoying tactics and yeah. Like I think so well, okay, b3 bishop check. Yeah, there was some world where I was worried about knight b6, but I can just take on c5. So although can I? No, because this hangs. So like I think I've got to take on b6 because of this hanging, because the bishop hangs. Maybe I do bishop b4, but like I saw some complications. And like I thought there was like pressure coming down at me. I mean, this is what the kind of thing I was looking at, but and like c4 I didn't, you know, like I didn't necessarily like. I suppose it doesn't really matter if c4 comes, but actually c4 I trade
Well,
queens.
do you want to trade queens?
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
It'd be probably nice to trade queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, c4 maybe not so scary. You also have like queen a7. I kind of get what you mean. Knight b6. It would be nice if on knight b6 we could just take something.
Like queen takes a7, but then knight takes c4. Like,
yeah, let's think about this. So knight d7.
I know, but I do have queen takes a7 because I'm threatening the rook.
Yeah, but there's always rook b7 in response.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the problem.
But I the really stupid thing is I ended up playing king d1 in like 5 seconds when he did check me. Yeah. Despite playing rook d3 on the basis of I was maybe going to try and play king d1.
I feel like it's hard to avoid this knight b6 and taking. Yeah, so probably this was fine. Let's say here, take, and maybe here.
Yeah.
Or queen a4 just to keep control over.
Well, I was wondering here about queen, like maybe queen d8 and then aiming for queen d8 bishop here, but I suppose and then trying to get rook a8. Like I saw his pieces kind of coordinating in ways that would be annoying, and my king is kind of not. Well, it's I can't really move it out of the way. Maybe I can go like king b2, rook a1 in like worst case scenarios, but I didn't necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, king b2 earlier might have been better. No, it's not. It's not super comfortable, I would say.
And yeah, and this is literally why I played rook d3, and then because if I play king d1, I mean, there's still probably other potential issues, but then I just get out of all of these like pins and things. I was super aware that if you like, I was kind of aware of this like pinning idea stuff, but yeah, it's just king b2, knight takes, knight takes, rook takes. Yeah, okay. I didn't even think of well, I didn't play g6. I should have just played g6 instead of rook d3 probably, but I mean, yeah. Rook d3 I thought sort of sidestepped some of this.
Yeah, it's not easy for sure.
I
Check here.
yeah, and I literally spent 5 seconds on king b1. So that's my own fault. I king b1 is probably
natural.
Yeah, it's probably better anyway than king d1, but like he's really got to prove it still. Like I think he's really got to prove it still, and he's got no like f4 kind of trying to break open the king side. His pieces are all over on the queen side. I'm going rook b3 as a kind of like plan. Yeah, it feels but I mean, yeah, sure.
But he's gonna do the same thing with knight b6. So I don't know if
But then he doesn't have knight takes c4,
really
so like knight b6, and I can just play b3. No, I can't because rook b1 check, and you pick up the h.
Yeah, the king is still kind of awkward there.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it makes such a huge difference. I agree. You should have maybe considered it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd considered it the move previous, and then just as soon as the check was played, went king b1. But yeah, I mean, I still thought it was fine, but I was kind of aware, and again, I was always gonna play b3, and then I had this last minute thing where I was like, oh, my bishop can go to e4, I can improve, and just didn't. Like I calculated b3, was looking at like b3 a3 to kick the rook. But again, I was worried about b3 knight b6. So the knight b6 came with like this really annoying tempo. After like b3 knight b6. And yeah, like
but here you can come in, right? Queen a8.
Yeah. I like in my head, this was what I was worried about. And then I was like, oh no, but I just have a3.
Well, I mean, this one's not.
Oh no, I don't just have a3. Yeah, you're right. This is what I was worried about.
So then, well, you go here.
I go where? Sorry, bishop e4.
So bishop comes in, c4.
And now I have a. Well, no,
because otherwise, like, what does white want in this position? White wants to just like trade pieces and simplify, and then eventually get an end game with extra exchange. So c4,
rook d1,
trying to make a mess of things. Rook d1, but yeah, I don't really see what black can do to you. It's so scary. And now you do have this as a threat.
Yeah.
Actually, that could have been possible last move too.
Well, I was thinking push. I mean, I suppose I'm up the material, right? Takes, check. Like I'm already up in exchange. That's but he's got the bishops, so like not.
So here I would say, yeah, you're doing really well because you traded off his active rook and you can get your rook in. And you're very active. So especially if you can trade queens. If you trade queens, then you're just easily winning.
Yeah.
With the extra exchange.
And I suppose I'm always kind of pinning down his bishop /
So
his
yeah,
queen can't move either. So
that's why it's very hard for him to move right
yeah,
now. But
yeah,
if he does something like this, then he would 100%
sure.
take this endgame all day.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, yeah, definitely this was well, it's not an easy position to play, but this definitely feels right.
yeah. Complicated.
Knight b6, and then you also have this move. It's kind of possible.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this one allowing c4
Yeah, yeah,
feels
yeah.
this starts to feel dangerous.
And then bishop,
Bishop
yeah,
d
bishop d2, really annoying.
and yeah, very annoying.
I think I have to go queen c7. Like
Yeah.
I was queen a7 hangs the rook. I was very aware of the all the or doesn't hang the rook yet, but like queen a7. What was the problem? I saw some form of problem with queen a7. Yeah, no, it does hang the rook because you have c. You follow up with c3 at the end of the line. Oh, now? I was thinking
What were you
rook
saying?
takes b2. Oh no, knight takes. Knight takes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking like rook takes b2, but you have knight takes. But still complicated.
No, but maybe here.
Yeah, c3 at the start of the line.
Like if this, for example, you have this one,
Yeah, yeah.
which is funny.
Oof.
Oh wait,
Hang on.
thought this was mate.
Yeah.
There's
No,
still...
no. The rook's guarding on c. c1.
Then this would be good for white.
Yeah.
Is the conclusion there? So b3, but maybe some other move like b8 and
The rook's
now
trapped.
it's less good for white.
Yeah. Well, you can play. No, you can't. Yeah, the knight can't go anywhere. Anyway, without being lost. Takes. Yeah.
Yeah, so c3 I think looks pretty. The queen c7. Well, I'm not sure why that would help.
Against c3.
I feel like c3 again looks very unpleasant.
Rook b3. Oh, then I hang the knight. No, I hang the knight.
Yeah. Because b3 again, black just like drops back, and then it's really hard to. So b3 is not really a move.
No, but then I do have knight c5. No. So rook d8, knight c5 now because the queen's guarding. Queen. I don't know. Queen takes rook. Okay, no, my bad. Oh no, queen and then queen check on. No, doesn't work either.
Yeah.
Sad.
It's like 2 pieces for the rook. So b3 though, okay, doesn't have to be played. But it's very awkward for white. These pieces.
Queen takes
it's
a7
really tough.
now, I guess. But then no, I still have all the problems. I can't quite defend. Is that I want to be able to try and get rid of that knight. It's just not happening.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Okay, but the culprit was not playing b3.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is terrible.
We're forced into this difficulty. So rook b8, and then I remember this moment. Take.
Yeah.
Take here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean this is just like it's kind of tunnel vision, you know.
Bishop takes
happens.
c4 instead of queen takes c4 as well. Was one of the suggestions from Anushka, on the basis of
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then we're good.
And then this
Although
you're cruising.
yeah, I still got some game to play, but yeah, I guess just uh yeah. And what's really annoying here is I changed to a mindset of how do I set up tactics rather than are there any tactics? Like, so I was looking
Right.
so hard to create stuff rather than looking at what actually was on the board. Because I was like,
Yeah,
right,
sometimes you just don't see it. But I mean, I know here you were spending time, you're like thinking, but you just if you don't see the idea, you don't look for it. You don't look for it. So
yeah,
it's
and yeah.
fortunate.
Oh well, but even then, it's not. This is still a tough spot to be in. I think. Like I don't see a huge like I'm
Oh
really
yeah.
restricted
Yeah, not
and
easy at all.
I'm but still better than just giving up a piece.
Right.
Yeah, because I was trying for some kind of like tactical like anything, but Queen D6 is just yeah covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't really have too much. Yeah, and then
Yeah, he
here
converted well, trades everything off.
yeah. And I was attempting to like try and create any form of like passes. Um, I felt like I had to play like G4. I thought I might be able to try and do something annoying to hold, but there's just not any way after he gets his bishop to like. There's no way of
I think
stopping.
we don't have enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
black always can break through somehow.
So yeah, and then I set up a stalemate trap at the end, and that was that. Obviously not going to fall for it, but you got to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah.
Good effort.
So yeah,
Um okay, so tough game.
but I mean I felt good in general with the game. Just allowing the bishop e4 was just not the one. uh, and it comes from a split second decision. I think I do this a lot where I spent a while calculating something and then not sure if I'm super happy with it. Look at something else really quickly and go, yeah, you know what, that I'll play that,
Hmm.
and then I haven't really considered.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, you have to
I don't know how to stop doing it. This is my problem.
yeah, you
um,
gotta be like responsible for your moves, you know. Like,
yeah, I get to a point where I'm like, F it. I'll just play this. And I haven't even calculated it properly, so yeah. Oh well. Cool. Um,
yeah, you gotta try to keep the grip,
yeah.
you know, keep control. Round three?
Round 3. I think this was Ashley.
Oh, that was already round three. Wow.
Uh,
Or only round three.
or only yeah, I think so. Uh, I can't remember the order exactly. It's kind of annoying that the game. Oh yeah, is it? Where's the PGN info? Like, can I just not see the PGN info on? It says O3, so I'm guessing that's round 3. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah. I was already scared to play her because she's like a mini witty. Like,
Right.
just yeah, sack. And the one thing I tried to prep. There's nothing on her because she hasn't played any OTB, so she's also an unrated. But she's fairly strong. Like, or she online, hers and my rating are like equal. She's actually slightly higher rated. And
Dang.
she plays in like a really sacrificial nature as well. So I was like, I'm scared of her
So,
sacrificing everything.
yeah. Basically a disciple of Witty Alien,
Yeah,
who's at this tournament for folks to have some backstory. And Witty, yeah, he plays all the craziest gambits.
insane
Very
gambits.
funny. But Okay, she goes for Tarash c5, c3, which is not considered to be so good because of what you eventually do, which is to take on e4.
Yeah.
Knight c6 first, I think, is fine.
Yeah,
And you
and
take on e4, which is good to give white isolated queen pawn.
she does play this like I'm aware that she plays like a bonjour variation of the Alien Gambit, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just aware that she's going to sack. I thought here for a while. I'm sort of a little bit out of book despite actually playing this loads. I assumed bishop b4 check was the way to go because I just get some development and try and get castled relatively quickly. I wasn't sure whether I just should snap off the bishop or not. I'm quite scared of wasting time or giving my opponent time. But that said, doing this wastes time for me. So maybe I should have just taken and then 97 and castled.
So I think let's see. I'm not sure about this whole check. Maybe it's fine. You can also just play here and then here.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the most solid.
Sure.
Because you do want to trade minor pieces
Mm-hmm.
against the IQP, then the pawn gets weaker and weaker.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if bishop b4 is the right way to do it. Knight g7 definitely feels a bit funny.
Okay.
But I also don't see a way for white to really exploit it. Because this, I think you turned out okay.
Yeah.
Especially here, castle is like
Well, I was like, what? I was like, no way is this good. Like, there's not a chance that this is good. And then like, I get the C file. Like, you've got to spend the tempo, especially since I'm attacking. Like, yeah.
Right.
And then I really like this.
Yeah, king one. Okay.
I really liked my knight a7 idea. I gave it an exclam. I don't know what the engine will think of it, but it forces the light squared bishop off the board.
Oh, yeah, no, this is actually a classic plan in the French, so this is good.
Okay, good.
This happens in different structures as well. I think it makes sense here to try and trade off. You still want to trade minor pieces and leave white with this weakness. So this was well played, I think. Knight back. Okay, here, though.
Yeah, so she had an attack brewing, and I just couldn't tell whether it was actually an attack or not. Like, I actually really wasn't sure.
Always attacking chances. Yeah, you're castled on opposite sides of the board. Would be nice to play without g6 somehow. But I'm not sure how to
I mean,
how to
knight
achieve that for you
d5.
exactly. Yeah.
Or I was wondering maybe like, can I get away with queen d5, and then if either of the knights come across, then I can just offer a queen trade.
Right. Something like this actually feels, yeah, it feels very nice because you are either forcing a queen trade or knight e4 back. And then you can just continue with your development.
Sure.
And then your queen is kind of nicely placed here. Yeah, I kind of like this more. I don't know. Maybe you're okay here, but it's a bit weakening to have to go g6.
Interesting. Okay. Because also I made this knight maneuver from knight e7 to d5 to f6, and I was just going to play queen d5 again, trying to offer like the queen trade. And then it was only after I played knight d5, because I did calculate knight d5, h4, h5. Like, I just felt like she was going to barrel down like that. And then I realized like queen d5 I think was just better anyway, because any chance I get to offer the queen trade, like, she's got no attack. Like,
yeah. Right, so you spent all this time, but she just goes h4, h5.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
And yeah. And that's where I thought I wasted, like, because I was like, after my knight's on d5, okay, it comes back to f6, which I thought was like important to hold the h7 square, but I mean, if I play queen d5, h4 h5 isn't so much of a problem. Or
Yeah,
didn't
I think this would have been faster. Yeah, I agree. Because White's forced to spend time to avoid this idea. Because you're definitely happier in the end game.
because of the IQP.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if the queen is forced off the diagonal, then you can get b5, b4, and you get your counterplay in much faster.
I also ignoring chat. Hi Joel. Hi Joe. Sorry guys. You messaged like 10 million years ago. I'm probably on there, but hello.
So here, 95.
Yeah, I
Nice
thought this.
stuff, queen f5, but
Yeah, I thought this was wrong because it feels scary, but I know she's trying to get like queen h3. I have knight h5. The other knight's hanging. Like, I spent a fair chunk of time, I think, trying to like make sure that I wasn't just getting mated.
oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, we're already in massive time trouble at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Jeez.
This is not a great game for time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is
Let's see.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you spent too much time here.
yeah.
Although the play was good, but yeah, you didn't leave yourself with enough time for when the game gets like super sharp. So yeah, basically it was decided in like these couple minutes.
Yeah.
But take.
But here I was like, I mean, knight f3, I wasn't sure what I do, and then she played knight h7, and I was like, whoa, like I get it, but like knight f3, it's still the same kind of.
But knight f3, can't you just go for the endgame?
Yeah. That's
Or I
that was the plan, and then
you
I
have
was
to weaken your structure.
yeah, and then I
ideal.
thought this was drawish, like
Mhm.
like I didn't see how I was. Okay, I'm up a pawn, but I'm not up a pawn. I'm up half a pawn. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, what to do? G4 is coming.
and like queen e4 doesn't really do anything. Like, yeah, I mean, I've probably got to do it.
Yeah.
Although
that's okay. As black here, I think getting some endgame is a nice achievement.
did I have knight? So maybe I actually had knight f6. Oh no, I don't, because it blocks the h8 square. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Also, you don't want that. Like you could defend, let's say like this.
Yeah. I felt a bit passive.
Very passive. Yeah, very risky. So white can try to triple up on the H file.
Ugh.
Or play for some knight H7 somewhere. Yeah. This for one pawn, yeah, it's probably not worth it.
Joel's roasting my time management in this game.
Knight H7 though.
Knight H7. Yeah, she said after she played it, she was like, why didn't I just go knight F3? I mean, it's still, I can't, I take G4 comes, fine. But I would, and then queen check, queen takes. Although maybe I could have just traded queens as well, and then I pick up the knight, do I? But yeah, I thought this was fine. And after she traded on D8, I was like, no, this is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. It was... Okay. So, but yeah, time trouble. It kind of collapsed.
Yeah.
Quickly. So, yeah, sharp game. I think the end game was well played though. Got the two pawns and just brought the king up, which is like the most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nice one. Sharp fight. Yeah, main thing there is just the time usage.
Yeah.
Next game.
Okay, and this might be versus Vera.
Got Logan in the chat. Do you have any tips how I can improve? Because OTB I am 1200. And I've beaten several 2000s, but online I'm 700. So to improve, Logan, you have to try to play strong players. And the more you do that, the better you get. because then you can challenge yourself, and then if they beat you, you try to understand the reasons why they're beating you, and then you can work on those things, whether it's tactics or strategy. But in general, okay, you're gonna want to solve puzzles, maybe read some books, some strategy books, watch some videos, and try to improve your knowledge, try to improve your skills, Logan. Okay, we're rooting for you.
So this game was the
Round
second
4.
round of the 3-round day. I also
Right.
managed to develop a massive headache during this game, which was not fun.
Yeah.
But it was probably like more into the middle game. But like the opening, I sucked so hard. I think. And I was calculating ghosts in the opening that just didn't exist. And I like so yeah, he actually plays what I play against 92, which is annoying. And I don't actually face this that often. I'm not even sure I've faced it over the board actually. So I think I take on d5, and actually I should take both the pawns and leave him with the IQP, even though he gets some time with the bishop. But I randomly opted for like knight f3, which is probably okay.
You can start with this. This is fine.
And
then
yeah, I was thinking bishop b5 check.
Go bishop b5, exactly. Just to develop a bit more actively, because you do want to trade pieces. So if like bishop d7, then you can
create the IQP.
Eventually trade, and then you take on c5, and then you are again playing against the IQP.
And he never wants to push c4 essentially because he just creates a huge weakness on d5.
They can push c4, but yeah, you still have a target with b3. So like here, for example, you could play it, and then b5, you have a4. And so they're not in time to like hold on to everything like b6.
So what about c3 after b3? Because that looks kind of annoying to me. So like c3, and then like it feels like knight b1 is the move after c3 here. And then
yeah, so here you go knight b1.
I suppose there's no way to hold on to the pawn really. No. Queen c7.
Yeah, I mean we always have
okay.
Check and take, but
and there's no bishop b5.
After b5 though, it is a thing. So on a4 here, black goes. So this might be good for black actually. This might be a blunder.
Yeah.
So strategically, I think we're kind of busted. So, but b5, maybe white starts with c3 like this, and then we want to play a4. And it's not clear if black is developing fast enough.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the drawback.
So yeah, I just wanted to kind of develop, and then yeah, I was really worried.
Right, so this is just passive. Yeah, c3 like in the other game. It basically, I think, more or less gives up all of our advantage because black just gets to kind of equalize the structure. So yeah, here you could take.
Yeah.
In castle.
Okay.
And then this would be a bit more like I think black has a decent version, but you can still play against this. So for example, like knight b3 and then c3 somewhere now to control the d4 square.
Yeah, I looked at this. I thought as well, and I was like, sure.
Yeah, it's normal position. Very playable. The issue is it's like you're having to figure a lot of this stuff out over the board.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of knowing it
from yeah. Every time I play, essentially every time, all of my theories come from just every time I played a game. Because I'll look at something or not know something or like know a little bit of something, and I'll play a game, get crushed, and then be like, right, that's in the memory bank now.
So yeah, unfortunately, that's how you.
This is the way.
Add to your knowledge. Yeah. Little by little.
Wins don't help me. Yeah, only losses. That's the thing. Losses progress. That's the way. Okay. Yeah. C3 takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Yeah. I actually wondered if he had any like bishop b5,
Yeah,
but
now black's all right.
yeah.
Bishop d2. I don't quite get. You're looking for bishop a5.
Yeah, I was gonna play bishop g5 again. Like I just had this. I was playing super passively. I
Yeah,
actually
why
can't
not bishop
explain it
g5?
now, but I remember like actively like going, yeah, bishop g5, and then like that being the consideration, and just probably overthinking something or other because I can't
Yeah, it's a
explain
nice
now why I went
idea.
bishop
You have
d2.
rook c1 and
Yeah, but
black
no,
does have to deal with it.
that was definitely not the plan. But
Okay.
yeah. So I have no
Then I don't
idea.
understand at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually don't understand now. I don't know what my thinking was behind it because bishop g5 is the natural move, and then
Right.
like,
Yeah. Bishop g5 for sure.
do you want to go bishop e7 or do you want to move the knight to e4? Guess I
Yeah,
didn't
because
like
you
the
will
knight
take
e4.
here full out.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
knight
e4
e4.
probably I think is smart. But okay, you can drop back and um well, okay, it's still better than going bishop d2. You can
Yeah,
also start with
because he can
this.
still go knight e4 with bishop d2. Like there's nothing. It
Yeah.
could transpose, but yeah. Um,
Yeah, a bit of a
but knight
weird
e4
one.
is kind of more forcing, I guess.
So he goes back, h3. Still get some tempo. Okay, then you fix the bishop. So
Yeah, yeah,
I think you're. Oh right, and then you're able
yeah,
to take and
yeah.
force him.
And he was
Bishop
like, "Yeah, this is
g4.
fine. I was happy to play that." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, um,
Mm.
we only discussed briefly because I had such a bad headache, but it's really annoying because I really wanted to analyze this game, but I just didn't feel it. I felt like I got back in here, so I was like,
Yeah.
"Great," but
Yeah, he should have just played here
yeah,
and then
yeah.
probably go back.
And I was happy with this also. Um, he doesn't want to push g5 really. I don't think anyway.
Fresh. Mm-hmm. So okay, here you take, and then maybe I would go this way.
Bishop d3.
Not sure.
I didn't.
I guess he can still do this.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, I can undo his damage pawns, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
And then
No, you definitely don't want to take like this. That would be nice for black. Actually, I like what you did. I like bishop g4 because then you get this extra
yeah, I
diagonal.
like the c8, and then I've got like queen c2. I there's some things maybe not queen c2 queen c3 after queen f3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I feel like life was reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, and so essentially I blundered because I miscalculated something and then touch moved and then couldn't take it. Like obviously I was like, oh no. But that's later, yeah, a bit later. So like here I was like, oh, it's not too bad. But yeah, now like I don't know, this position is kind of stuck, and I didn't like yeah, my knight journey earlier on was probably not the greatest play. But it feels like he's gaining back all the momentum and advantage.
So yeah, I don't love the capture because this fixes his structure.
Yeah.
And then it feels like the position is easier for black to play.
Yeah. So I essentially was gonna play rook. So here was the blunder. So I touched my rook. Because I wanted like again time trouble, but he was also in worse time trouble as well. So like this is the thing. I touched my rook because I wanted to play rook c8, and then realized, and then it all just yeah. I mean, knight takes here, and I mean, it all feels bad.
Knight takes yeah, it's still possible, right? Because
yeah, queen takes, king g1.
If takes you're taking with check.
And like maybe I get some check and rook check in, then it's okay. But like he's got to be a little bit careful about queen g5 that he pulls back. Maybe he just offers a queen trade, and he's doing okay. But no, he doesn't, because I've got like knight f5 ideas. Maybe queen g5 has to g4 has to be the play from him.
Four. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it's not so easy. If he goes back, you have rook
Yeah,
c8.
yeah. So like I
Um,
touched the rook, and then it was just like, oh, it's all gone wrong. Like, and then and
yeah, I
then
feel
it
like you're okay. You
immediately
should
blundered
maybe
afterwards.
just push, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of nice.
And
Um,
then you're holding black somewhere. He still has
can I go
your
queen
king is
g5
still
check
weak, so
now? Do I?
here. Oh yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying for sure.
And then yeah, obviously some problems.
Yeah. Um yeah, actually I don't think we want to allow that, so maybe go back this way.
Can I start putting pressure now? Knight f. Like, do I want to bring my knight in and then I'm? Oh, but then I suppose you can come back. Can I start putting pressure on?
Here I think I would want this one. And then try to come in. Oh, but then the knight is
Oh, knight's hanging. Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
That's annoying.
maybe here.
Oh,
Or
sorry.
maybe there's check.
But can you get away with sacking the exchange? No. No, that's
Yeah,
just
let's see. I don't know. Check.
that's the king's kind
Takes.
of gets safe, no? Oh, do you have bishop f4?
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
So
That's not
you're
fun.
winning the exchange back. Oh, wait, actually,
And
go.
like, well, queen h1 is a problem as well. Okay, maybe not, but okay.
Yeah, so it's not super clear. I would still think black is doing well though, because it seems like black's king is safer.
Yeah.
Something like this. You got. Yeah, I would probably take black here. So
So maybe I'd have to go like rook c5.
but still a better try.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe not here. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe
Oh, but now I can go
here.
rook c8 and try and offer trades.
Yeah, try to trade off some pieces for sure. Then
Or can we still go
yeah, it's
queen
not so easy for black
g6?
to play this without allowing check. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of I think you kind of got yourself into a tough middle game there. Um yeah, basically I think should have just kept the tension somehow. Continue.
Okay.
The knight never really found a good square actually. I don't like this knight a4. Probably I would have brought the
Yeah.
knight over here.
Yeah.
We never
That would make so much
didn't
more
touch on
sense.
this. But yeah, knight on a4 definitely didn't belong there. So somehow it didn't make it over to
Uh-huh.
because f4 it's beautiful because then it can't get hit. You have knight
Yeah.
h5 check, hitting this. Your king side super safe.
Yeah, knight a4, like it's weird plans, because I was like, where's the bishop going afterwards? And but he had just played rook e7. Like, so that's when the bishop's going to c7 anyway. Like, I think that was just maybe a bit of like a guys. And then also knight back to b5, probably not needed. Like knight c2, a knight e2. I was
Right.
just gonna play here as well.
92 better because yeah, I think you want your knight as close to the square as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so some strategic things maybe we're noticing
Yeah.
to think about, like where to put the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Shall we look at more?
sure, sure. So that was round 5. And then we need, that's not me, that's round 2. Was it this one? No, this is round 5, so that was round 4.
Right.
And who is this? Oh, this was the guy. This was the guy that was his first tournament guy.
First tournament, right?
I mean, in fairness, probably is his first tournament, but I was expecting. So this is an opening I need to look at because like I had this in the Reykjavik Open. I played an unrated who was not a great player, but I just got steamrolled. So I've kind of got PTSD whenever anyone plays D3. To the extent that the unrated player that I played in Reykjavik resigned in an not resigned, offered me a draw in an absolutely one position. Like, he was gonna promote. Like, he just had to push a pawn, and yeah, it was not great. So yeah, I've got like a kind of PTSD, so I'm really gonna look at this opening now. But playing the King's Indian attack against the French, I know that I should be playing for like on the queen side as a general plan and trying to like cause problems before the attack steamrolls me. But and e5 should come as well. And I think e5 earlier than I played. When he played c3, I thought, okay, that doesn't feel like the play. So I thought c3 on his part was a bad move. He's obviously looking for some kind of queen a4 check, which I don't.
Yeah,
kind of get.
c3 is just very early to play this move, and yeah, your notes say you could have just played e5. Yeah, it's like you can just play white, take the center.
Yeah, but it took me a while to get
Because
the
white's main move is like
in.
to play knight f3 and not allow you to play e5. And
yeah.
So if you go like knight c6 here, for example,
He
trying to
plays
play
E5.
for this one, then a lot of times white will play e5 just in time.
Yeah.
Or like if here, for example, then here, and then yeah, they might play e5 here. They might keep the tension because now then this would be very risky with like the way they develop the bishop. This would be a good version for white, but c3 not the most useful move in the opening. So yeah, allows you a lot of freedom.
Yeah. So I played e5 now, I think. Yeah. Or no, sorry,
Well,
d takes and then e5. Yeah.
Yeah, and then e5 also is, I think, probably fine.
Oh no, I didn't play e5 there either. Dude. I swear
you play e5 a bit later.
Wow.
So here,
that's bad.
Here.
Okay, yeah. It's like because in my head, like, yeah, okay, fine. I have not looked at this game.
It's okay. I mean, I think so yeah, if you're gonna take, might as well just play it right away.
Yeah. And yeah, and then bishop c5 and sure. So I get it eventually. Anyways, fortunately he didn't play, and I was sort of also because I played knight c6 and not pushed my c pawn. Like I should have really played c5 like here. I was heavily debating c5 on move like 3. But yeah, didn't really go for it. And then knight c6 means I don't have any c5 later, and I didn't really know how to develop any of my pieces. Bishop g4 was probably just the move, like, to play, but I didn't want to put bishop g4 and get kicked about like too much, and I was just worried about. I unnecessarily worried because I probably wasn't calculating. I was more like just having flashbacks of getting crushed. So yeah. Yeah, I had no real idea what to do. And just sort of played some moves. I was gonna so half the reason with bishop here was so I could play queen c8 to try and like trade off this light squared bishop at some point, but to be honest, this light squared bishop is blocked by its own pawn quite nicely, so probably not a great plan. Yeah, I just really struggled in this game. I think I was just shattered as well. Um, so yeah, this was the game I definitely felt like I played worst because any of these moves I find really hard to explain right now. um, because I'm just very passive, congested. My pieces aren't coordinated. They're all in front of each other, and the only bit of freedom I had was when he played this knight f5. I had calculated some tactical line, which I don't think works. So like, or it works in terms of it looks like I'm losing a pawn, and I can get a pawn back, but there was a sequence here essentially, and that's the only thing I really calculated in the game, I think. From here, knight f4, f5. Which was bishop
Yeah, it
takes,
seems like you
takes.
didn't know what to do with your pieces.
Yeah,
Basically.
I just felt like super cramped. I had no idea where to put them. And yeah, so here I had calculated. So it looks like I lose the pawn, but I can regain the f5 pawn. I
So
also
let's go back. So
Okay.
let's think about this. So once you do this, bishop f8.
I mean, yeah. My bishop wants to be on c5. I feel like.
Yeah, so I didn't like this one. I think I would have put the queen on c8 anyway,
Yeah.
and then probably just like trying to get some space on the queen side.
Yeah.
So a5, a4. The real problem is this knight on c6 is not a
Yeah.
great piece. So one day you have a couple ideas. Maybe knight d7, bring this knight over to c5, or bring this knight to c4. Oops.
And so I can bring it to c5 because I played a5 essentially.
Yeah, like yeah, you don't run into any b4. Then you can also use the pawn to try and create a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this is very much playable. I feel like it's probably close to equal. Maybe white's a little bit better just because c3 pawn gives them some better play in the center.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, yeah, once we get to this one, knight f5, there's a question whether you should take. You can also just
Queen c5.
ignore.
Queen d, yeah.
And
is
it's
there
not
any?
so clear what the knight can do to you.
Yeah, it's just in a really annoying place. It's like a knight on f5, worth a pawn.
Yeah.
And Kasparov going on. It's,
But you have a bishop on f8, which is like very
yeah.
well played. So here, like you have this classic plan: king h7, g6.
I didn't quite
Maybe
like
even
just
knight g8 if you need to.
rook d1, queen c1, rook takes. I suppose rook takes, and I'm like these trades are good. At the end of the day, for me at this point in time.
Okay, like this, for example.
I just struggle to find like a plan here. Yeah.
Let's say you drop back, rook d1, you go here. Yeah, so you're just trying to improve your position very slowly.
Why? Oh, king g7, so I can push g6. Okay.
Yeah.
King h7, sorry, so I can push g6.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying for white.
Yeah, that is. They don't have a place.
So yeah, that's the thing. You're just trying to find a plan that's allows you to improve
Right.
bit by bit.
Queen c8. Yeah. Yeah, the queen e7 was not it.
e492.
So I had looked at all of this and I was looking at all of these like knight b4 lines. So like what was it? Like bishop takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight b4. Or even like knight d4 ideas. I don't think any of them ultimately really work out. So I sort of took the simple way because although I think after bishop takes queen back. Um, I had a plan. Is it just rook takes? No, it was not rook takes because the queen's covering. I can't remember my line. I spent a while calculating, but yeah, it just nothing felt like it quite worked out. They've got to be quite careful because this rook on e1 is hanging in a lot of ways. So maybe it was knight d4 in this specific scenario.
Can we go back one move? Here.
Sorry.
What about queen takes pawn?
That's what essentially I ended up playing in the actual line. Yeah, because I thought that was like the easiest and cleanest way to like. That was my safe option out if I couldn't find tactics that worked. And then I was like, okay, fine. I've sort of released all of the crampedness in my position, and we're okay. Yeah, we're okay. And there are still some potential problems because the rook. But in every line, I think there was some like bishop e3 antidote to any of my knight b4 stuff or knight d4 stuff.
So knight e4, this makes more sense for white. You actually try and keep the bishop on the board.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, this position looks.
I mean, I'm worse.
Quite nice for white.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the thing is, like queen a4 here, and I was just like, I can't really deal with like everything that he's got going on. And I was just, that was a move. I was just like, I'm gonna get crushed. Like, yeah, I didn't see a good way to deal with this move at all. There's no like. I can't ever like move the knight because the pawn hangs. Even if I'm trying to like, I was trying to think if I could give up a pawn just to be a bit more active or anything, but like the bishop on e3 is just blocking file. For me, the knight coming to e5 doesn't really like. I don't have the f3 square. Knight coming to d3 after that doesn't really do anything either because I've got no support, no like general coordination. Like everything was yeah, everything here, and I was like, yep, this is gonna be almost impossible to hold. And then he plays like b3 and just completely just like, I was like, right, I'm in the game. I felt like I was in the game anyway, because
no, definitely, yeah, lets you off the hook here.
Yeah.
Maybe bishop d6, running with the pawn.
Yeah, and I think he should have taken on a7 still. Okay, like here? Pawn for pawn? Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe you shouldn't have. Well,
I don't see a good moment for him to do it. I don't know about this move. Maybe he should have just played like.
Sure. Yeah.
But still, you come in.
Yeah. That was the general plan. But then he's like rook c1 and don't really like.
These are still.
Yeah. That's I was trying to like just keep that like idea, but
yeah, you're still latching on.
But yeah, I was just trying to be a little bit like tactical. I mean, obviously he saw it, so great, but like he made so like that b3 move was the only thing that sort of held anything for me. Well, I don't know. I think it's
just... no, definitely. Here.
Yeah. A5.
Maybe okay, you went here. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think this is also.
I was wondering about 95, but I just again like it just feels like a bit of a nothing move that disconnects some pieces, and then suddenly his bishop moves and you can force a rook trade, and I kind of wanted to try and keep. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably not too bad. It is in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I like a5, getting rid of your weakness. So
Yeah,
f4.
this I was like, whoa. Wasn't
Oh, and then that's how we got the trade, right?
although maybe bishop I was debating whether rook takes or whether I should play bishop bishop c5 first before rook take, because bishop c5 you can't, well, you can take the queen, but I thought it was cleaner. Maybe not, because then you've got to go king f2 and then you're kind of pinned. Huh. Yeah, maybe this was slightly better. Or do I go take
Maybe wait. Do you have this move?
rook takes now. Ooh.
No.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I saw this, and then because I also thought he might go like queen d8 check, but I don't. Because I have rook e8, rook e8 check back, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was debating, but I didn't want to. Yeah, because rook takes, pawn takes, and then king f2. But then maybe his king's like actually kind of pinned, like, and he has to hold. But I couldn't tell whether the move order mattered.
Yeah, definitely matter. I mean, here you don't want to play this because then we just take back with check.
Yeah.
And that's a piece. But I think white just saves the queen.
No, but rookie rookie 6 check. The bishop checks, so the rook can't take.
But then it's defended, so.
Yeah, I forgot. No, yeah. Sure. Okay.
So probably take this one. And then
Papet. Bishop g1.
yeah,
check.
I think white's better here because
they're up a queen.
queen is just good. Yeah, and
but I
I
can
guess
just
we have
perpetual.
a draw. Yeah. Black is a draw.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But
I think I also think I did look
your
at
way's
that.
good.
But yeah, I don't think here was kind of this.
This makes sense.
And then he offered me a draw, and I was just like, I usually don't take draws as well, so like this is saying something for me. Like I really hate to take draws. Like even if I know that I'm like slightly worse in an end game, or like, because I do like to play it out just so I've got it in the bank. Because again, losses, even if it's something that should be drawish, like I'm not gonna know to draw it unless I play it. But yeah, here I was just like, I was slightly worse. I am slightly worse here. This is a really tough game. Although saying that, I've come out of much worse games. Somehow. But yeah. But yeah, here I was like, yeah, it was like this was third round of the three round day, and I was done.
Yeah. No, draw's fair. I mean,
I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't have offered the draw. Like for sure, if I was him, I would have played on, because.
Yeah, no, definitely white's better. Yeah, with the bishop against the knight, white is a bit better.
Like
and
even
you could go for the end game too.
Yeah, like even with like that's what I was thinking. Like even with the pawns on dark squares on the queen side, this is not good knight bad bishop. Like this is like.
No, definitely not. Yeah. I mean, because white's bishop is very open and the pawns are flexible. So. Yeah, no, white's definitely better here. Yeah, the bishop's just better than the knight. But I would say it's not like not sure how good the winning chances are. It's just kind of you just rather have white for sure.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So that was round 5.
Round 5. And then
cool. You want to look at the next one?
Sure. And then Vera. So I think this is probably one of the better games that I played.
Yes, remember this one.
Caro advanced. So I think she had prepped for a 4 knights Caro, which is fair because all of my classical games will have that. Or actually, that probably changes a little bit, but none of them will have the advance unless they're like, there might be one on the database or something. So she thought for a little bit of time here, and then opted to go down this. Like, I don't really know the theory here either, but I know it can be really annoying if I can try and hold on to a pawn. That is the play, but I'm happy to give up one of the other pawns later, and I opt to do that here. I really wasn't
Yeah,
100%
C3. I
sure,
was
but
thinking about this. What about bishop b5 here?
yeah, I also considered bishop b5, bishop d7, takes, and then b4.
So you
Or
have to take here, or I don't know. Some other move, castles.
takes, bishop takes. Yeah.
Let's say we take. Queen takes. Bishop takes.
I assumed it would probably be bishop takes on the basis that like knight d4 might come at some point in time and be annoying with queen takes.
Let's say castles.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty good for white. I think we're just up a pawn here.
Sure. Thing is,
I I'm not sure about the theory.
yeah, because I like c3 so I can have like b4 kind of I like, and I try and that structure is a little bit hard to like break. And I was like,
But then,
okay,
yeah, bishop d7 is in the game.
yeah,
Was this good for white?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Like that, yeah, I know. I haven't checked any of these games with an engine yet, or looked at like openings.
Gotcha.
So yeah, here I was happy to just like give up the pawn and just be developed. That was a general thought process, and then because she spent time getting the queen in and out. I did debate whether I instead of bishop d3 going bishop e2. So in the event of knight takes, queen takes, I have bishop d4 with Tempe, but I sort of liked my bishop being on d3 over e2. So it's attacking the king side. But so yeah, I decided just
Yeah,
to
I like bishop d3 as well.
do this in castles. Bishop d4, knight f6, and then b4. Yeah, rook g1. I need to support e5, and then knight e8. Yeah, I didn't really know what to make of knight e8.
Yeah, I thought the idea was like to go bishop f6.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it looked like to me.
I mean, I'm super happy if you go bishop f6. Like, I think I'm happy if you go bishop f6 anyway. Like, I don't mind trying to trade my bad bishop. So this is where I was trying to figure out the double bishop sack.
Right.
And it doesn't work because the knight on e8. So yeah. But I was really trying to make bishop takes h7 work. It just doesn't. There's so many like lines where it feels like it's close, but it just, yeah. f3 comes at some point and I think white is just fine. So I went queen h5 first. I spent 15 minutes here. Which may be a terrible use of time, because also I was thinking about like move orders on like if bishop d5 and then the bishop sack, or bishop sack bishop d5 queen h4, like queen h4 check, if any of that works. But I don't think it does.
Yeah, honestly, I probably would have given up on it pretty quickly just because the knight's on e8.
Yeah.
So that makes it very unlikely because the knight immediately gets into the defense.
I also considered like rook e3, but then I thought like everything I need one more tempo for anything to work if I rook e3.
Rook e3 I think is reasonable, just bringing in another piece because it's definitely a tempo you're gonna want in the future.
Yeah.
Like rook a1. So I don't know. I like your queen h5. I might have played it faster.
Yeah.
But I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I mean this was just a egregious move. I think this is just like not the one. Like after G6 or like I don't really know what I'm um
Probably
threatening or
G6.
H6, even just H6 I think is probably fine maybe. Um
Oh, it's still annoying. You have ideas.
yeah, yeah. Um but bishop F6 I think and trades and then knight F6.
Yeah, some point black should do this, but okay, you're still. I think
Yeah,
this is still
yeah.
really nice for you. Kind of, yeah, dominating the center here.
Hmm. Um but yeah, so like this is just madness, I think. I know she's trying to cut the coordination, but again, time spent probably wasn't great in general in this game. Uh but after we can trade these like dark squared bishops,
Mm,
um or the dark squared bishop for the knights more specifically, like I knew that I was mm, better.
yeah,
Um
yeah. Here you're kind of crushing it.
and so yeah, all of my pieces are doing great. Getting low on time, so I opt to simplify because I thought I'd be able to convert, even if it's not, even if it's maybe not the best. Like they've got a huge weakness on e6. I'm gonna try and trade the minor pieces. That said, after analyzing, sort of like having a look at the game afterwards, um, it's probably not that simple.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, endgame definitely looks nice, but
Sorry.
yeah, a big part of me would want to keep the queens on, like it's queen h5.
Yeah, I really wasn't sure what the play would be here. Maybe just knight f6. Um,
Yeah, probably knight f6.
yeah, I didn't really see like a direct way forward, and I didn't want to spend loads of time calculating because I'd sucked with my time trouble with my
Yeah,
time again.
I get it. But endgame also looks good. I mean, you're very much just kind of dominating this one.
Yeah. And I thought like a4 was nice, and then like bishop b5. I think bishop c8 actually is just kind of annoying for me to deal with. Like I don't know what I after like bishop b5, bishop c8. Like what do I kind of do?
Bishop c8 here, or
Actually, yeah, maybe even here.
hmm. But you're better on like both sides of the board, so you
Hmm.
basically just have to keep building up, and then eventually you'll find a breakthrough. So
Sure.
one idea is maybe a5, a6.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Okay.
Uh, Another idea would be to prepare g4.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just like, yeah, in total control. So it's really hard to play this for black. Here, and then h3, rook g1, g4.
Right.
And yeah, you also have c4 at some point if you want. So this one's really tough.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, um, yeah, but that was like my general uh sense. Although the rook, she played terribly with the rook endgame.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
definitely
and
wasn't
then
it.
just she actually flagged here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was tough for her to play for sure. But yeah, I'm not 100% on the decision to trade down, but I thought practically like I just felt like I had it, so I went for it. But she beat Agne, so I was scared coming into this because Agne is a better player than I.
No, definitely very
um,
decent game for you, for sure.
yeah, but yeah, I think she just wasn't prepped for the advance. Um,
Okay, then you have one more game.
one more game.
Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, this is the rough one. This one was rough. Um, the Gulio.
Oh yes, yes, I
The
remember.
bird opening. What was his
Bird,
name? Uh, that was Vera, Luca,
birded.
Bossy. Yeah, I mean, I didn't prep for the guy either, which is probably my bad, but yeah, I didn't know, like I was like E6 will be solid because I just don't really know what I'm doing. Like this all feels like normal moves. I Unless there's something that is like gonna absolutely kill me that I don't know about. But yeah, he opts for this, uh, which is a line he told afterwards. He told me he's played like thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even if I accept the gambit and play it correctly, he's just very proficient in the end game. I opted not to take the gambit, which in hindsight is probably just much worse anyway. Anyway, but I knew he wanted me to take the gambit, so in principle I didn't, which is not the way to play.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I opted queen takes and
never easy
then to
to
trade
know
down.
what to do.
Yeah, yeah. And I just think I just slowly kind of get crushed. I should really have played knight b5 here, I think. Uh,
Let's go back. So
sure.
how to deal with this opening in general? I think
E5,
instead of committing with e6, I would just go here,
d5. Yep.
and then I'd probably suggest to put the bishop on the long diagonal. I just think
Mm-hmm.
it's a better setup for you.
Yeah.
And then you can go c5 from here, like c5, knight c6. It's just more active, and then your bishop isn't blocked in, and it's just easier to play. You
Sure.
can also play like this, I think.
C5 feels kind of nice.
Bishop b7, knight d7, and then your knight c5 one day, a5. So this is, I think, just more harmonious.
Right.
Okay. That was it. Because I think, yeah, your setup here, it does get a little,
Ropey.
does get you a little bit worse, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
this one here, I don't know. I guess maybe I would have not gone for the end game because you recognize like we give up the center, right? When we take on e4.
mm-hmm.
Because just like we trade off our advanced d pawn for their backwards d pawn, so we're giving up a lot of space, and then white's rook gets the d file, so kind of like, yeah, basically we end up in a really unpleasant endgame right off the bat. So I think I would have just done anything to avoid that, like b6, just to play the middle game,
Yeah.
just like with more chances.
Okay. Keep pieces on the board.
Yeah, because when you end up in that endgame, it's just like just one-way traffic for white. And so it just feels really, really unpleasant. So I'm just avoiding that basically. So here, or bishop d7 maybe. Pretty much anything.
Sure.
Because white's got no threat, right, in the center. There's nothing so dangerous that white can do to us.
Right.
If they push e5, then we drop back somewhere and, you know, maybe here. And it's like a King's Indian attack kind of position where you're trying to attack on the queen side.
Okay. So yeah, another reason to look at the King's Indian attack.
Yeah. You gotta kind of know how to play these middle games, basically. Which is, yeah, big part of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was just worried about him just having all of this space, but he gets the space anyway. and an open
Yeah, no, he
file.
gets more. Yeah, in the game.
Okay. So
Then
yeah,
afterwards, yeah, it's very hard to suggest much because
yeah, it's just crushing. Although knight b5,
really.
I don't know why I decided not to, because it's kind of annoying because you can't actually really like, okay, you can move this knight
Mm-hmm.
out, but then I like have knight c7, and then I can start like knight c2, sorry, and then I can maybe pull it back to e5. So like, yeah, this is maybe a slightly better chance, but I still have like quite a big problem of I need to get this rook out like as soon
More
as
active.
possible.
Yeah, definitely a better version, more active, but yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
great.
opted to give up a pawn as well to try and be active, but it's all terrible.
Yeah.
um, yeah. Okay.
Um,
But yeah.
now your opponent played well again.
Yeah, and he the gambit is like this finely trod line for me as well. Or I say finely trod, but like if I do go for it, uh, uh there's like essentially I've got to play f5. It's like I think he does kind of liquidate down or something, but
Mm-hmm.
when this knight like jumps out, the only move is f5, and you've got to allow the trade. I think yeah, something like this. But yeah, and you end up with this I stay at pawn because otherwise you're much worse if you don't play f5 or.
Wait, 92
I'm not sure if it's
was.
92, but there is an offering of the trade of the knight and
I feel like
f5.
95 is more
So yeah,
dramatic,
95.
probably.
Knight f5
Yeah.
is f5 is the only, apparently
Mm-hmm.
according to my opponent, the only response. I think he just takes it and then he plays the endgame.
Yeah, it's possible. Because you force him to give up his bishop if he wants to take on e4.
Yeah.
And so it is a very pretty ugly structure for you if he does something like this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
um, might be playable. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just want to kind of
And he
avoid
was like,
that.
I played this endgame thousands of times. And I was like, great.
Yeah, it's such a bummer.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what can you do?
No, exactly. But yeah, all in all, yeah, it was good. It was good.
So okay, 7 fighting games, 3.5. I feel like it was very reasonable.
Yeah,
Let's see.
reasonable. I
So you
think is a
lost
good descriptor.
this game. You lost the dragon.
Yeah.
And then you lost that French with knight d2.
Yes. Yeah.
Felt like okay, a couple of games it's like we didn't get the best setup out of the opening.
Yep.
That's like one thing to work on is like early middle game play.
Yep.
Calculation wasn't so bad. I thought like when the games are concrete, you normally were doing okay.
Yep.
Maybe some mistakes here and there.
Yeah.
How did your rating do after the tournament?
Oh, stays the same, like -3 because the 3 unrateds I played. Also, what's annoying is like Ashley and the guy whose first tournament it was, both had like performance ratings like around 1900. So so yeah, that was a bit of a shame because yeah, but that's the nature of opens at like around my level. I always seem to get paired with like a couple unrateds throughout the tournaments. So yeah, but I mean, in general I performed I think about as well as I should have at my rating. So yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, okay. I guess that was a lot of chess. Do you have you got a plan? You know what you're working on now?
Do the dojo. So keep follow like so essentially prior to that tournament and after my first tournament in Jersey this year, I sort of dropped off a little bit, not working as much on my calculation, probably because I had a really good result. And I was like, this is great. I did I did really well and gained a bunch of rating, and then sort of like slowly died off. So this has motivated me again to like get in my hour every day. I've been doing more than that now because I really want to try. I've got some hefty goals to try and hit the Olympiad, and I've got to beat someone really good to do it. So calculation, and then also I'm starting to look at some endgame stuff. Capablanca's best endgames. I'm doing one of those games, or going through one of those games every like couple of days. I really don't know what to focus on specifically, I suppose. Tactics and calculation, I'm trying to just keep up and going because I think that was like the biggest help and the reason why my rating jumped a bit. So just that will always be helpful. So I know that and I felt like I've improved with that, and it has felt like it slipped since I've stopped doing an hour every day. So that getting that back on track. But yeah, now, yeah, that's kind of the rough plan. But I don't know if there's anything I should really like hone in on, or I find it hard to split time on like how much time I should spend on like openings versus whatever else. But that said, I want to prep in the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna have to play this pairing against Paul Walkie. We call him. He's around 2000. He's an older dude though, so but I mean he's still actually really good. He's still really high up in the league. But yeah, I'm gonna prep the hell out of trying to play him. But he's been playing for years, so I think I don't know what up to date games I can get. I think he's an E4 player, but that's the important game for me, and that's gonna happen in like 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when we schedule it. So
Nice.
yeah,
So
that's the
yeah, you
plan.
can definitely learn a lot while preparing for that game.
Hmm.
And I would say that's a general way to improve is to study games in your openings
Yeah,
and learn from those games. Like try to find some model games in all the lines that you play. Definitely like the knight d2 French and any other line where you kind of struggle. Like just look for high level games
yeah,
in those openings and then try to study as many games as possible. And they don't have to be super high level, but like maybe Grandmaster or 2400 beating someone around their level or lower. A lot of times it can be instructive to look at games that are like 25 versus 2100 because then you can just show like a total
yeah.
like exactly what someone's aiming for out of the
Right.
opening.
Yeah, that's a good
So
shout.
I would say maybe that's the biggest thing I would suggest is try to find games in the openings that you play
Yeah.
that you can learn from.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one thing I'm lacking. And the more I've spoken to higher rated players or players around, like that are 2200 up, they've all been like, oh yeah, just I looked at these games. Like one of the best things for me was like master games, and it's something I've never really done. So like, yeah, I think definitely that feels like the right thing to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try find some good ones.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful. And then yeah, tactics and calculation always just having some book you're working through, and then you work through it, and then you go to the next one, and then work through that, and then just keep keep
Yeah,
working,
yeah.
keep working through it, just trying to like get stronger, faster, sharper.
Yeah, sharper. That I think that's one thing I'm trying to do as well is just play a bit more aggressively or sharp, I guess. Because yeah, it's just something that I think when I was like 13, 1400, I read the first like 2 chapters of Silman's Reassess Your Chess, and that's gotten me to where I am now. But that's meant that I've been not really focusing on like, because that book is like, you don't need to really calculate that much. You just need to know like where you should be putting your pieces and what you're trying to aim for. And like now I'm trying to undo some of that and just like brute force, brute force and stuff. And I think I am getting into worse positions because of that switch, but also my calculation is better, so I've been getting more wins. So I think I might need to dip back into a little bit of like trying to understand where every piece is and what it's doing and what minor piece trades are good for me and all that kind of stuff, because I don't think
Yeah,
about
for
that so
sure.
much. I mean, the strategic or tactical, I'm very rarely both at the same time.
It sounds like, yeah, you might need more Solman. Yeah, it's always a balance where like we get one good at one thing, we neglect the other, then we focus on that thing for a while, and then that becomes a strength, and the other thing becomes our weakness.
Yeah.
So now you might have gone too far on the like concrete side, and now you need to be back more on the strategic side.
Also, maybe because I'm stronger than I was now as well, maybe that my strategic side just hasn't improved, and now I'm seeing the the deficit of that
Yeah,
because people are
exactly.
just crushing me for it. Cool.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, okay. You have a lot
Awesome.
to work on.
Yep. Yep, I do.
Yeah.
I will always
This
have a
was
lot to
fun.
work on. No, this was great. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is super helpful. So thanks for
Yeah,
your time.
absolutely. Hopefully people in the chat enjoyed it as well, got something out of it, some useful chess knowledge or inspiration at least, how to look at your games after a tournament and try to take away things to work on. But yeah, thanks for following everyone. I think we're gonna wrap up the stream
Yeah.
here. Go follow Matt. He's at Houseline on Twitch and Instagram. And we're Dojo Chess Dojo. We got a great community. If you haven't joined yet, please do. We got a nice bustling Discord online community. So there's lots of great sites out there, but there's not that many great communities where you can find training partners and have people around you to support your training. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yep.
Is a famous saying that
I,
applies to our situation.
I've got a good little crew now of people that are my level to spar with. Anushka and Rachel, who are also streamers as well. But they're yeah, they're full
Yeah,
dojo.
it's very
It's
helpful
so
to have a
so
crew because
helpful.
you all kind of push each other, and then if someone gets behind or falls behind in rating, it's like they have all this motivation now to work harder. So I totally agree.
Awesome. Would you like to raid anybody? And if so, you might need to do it because I don't have the access to.
Oh, I think yeah, I can raid. Let me pull it up on our channel. All right. Well, thanks, Matt. Goodbye,
No
everyone.
worries.
We'll raid
Thanks, guys.
our friend Elena here. Alrighty, raiding now. See y'all.
Awesome. See ya. Bye, Joel.